Hello, welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Louis Braille. Troubles. Louis Braille followed the doctor's orders. He slept long hours each day. He ate everything that was in front of him. As soon as he was a little stronger, he spent some time every day out in the fresh air, and slowly he grew stronger again. Not as strong as before, but strong enough. Finally, felt well enough to begin teaching again. The time passed, and Louis was happy with much of his life. His teaching, his music, his friends, but things did not go well with his alphabet. Luckily, Louis didn't have to carry on the fight completely alone. The director of the institute continued to be a good friend. He was always willing to help. Dr. Pignier saved for a long time. Finally, he had enough money set aside to print a small book about Louis' alphabet. Two of them worked and worried over each page. They wanted it to be just right. Finally, they were finished. Louis was so proud. He decided to call the book Method of Writing, Words, Music, and Plain Song by Means of Dots for Use by the Blind and Arranged by Them. What a long and important sounding title. Surely such an important sounding book will find friends for his alphabet somewhere. Dr. Pignier sent copies to many important men, but the months passed, and all he and Louis got back were polite thank you notes, or nothing at all. One day, Louis was riding home to Coupvray in a stagecoach. He was going to visit his parents. Before long, he discovered that a blind woman was riding with him. How long did that take? You think somebody would have felt something. Anyway, Louis spent the next few hours telling her about the alphabet and showing her how to feel the raised dots. The blind woman was very excited. Blind people almost always were. Then teach others, Louis said. I will, she promised. But did she? Louis never knew. Louis didn't like to talk to strangers, but in the next few years he talked to many. He talked about anyone who could help him, if only they would. At night, when he couldn't sleep, Louis would sometimes remember their words. You are young, Mr. Braille. Everything takes time, Mr. Braille. You must understand, Mr. Braille. You must be patient, Mr. Braille. Patient. Louis felt shouting when people talked like this. He didn't have time to be patient. He was only in his early 30s. He was still a young man, but he had sick for years with tuberculosis, and each year he had grown weaker. How much time did he have left? Then came the worst blow of all. Louis had faced many disappointments in the past few years, but he was always sure his alphabet would be welcomed in the place, the institute itself. After all, the director was one of his closest friends, but in 1841, Dr. Pignier left the institute. A new man took his place. The new director, Dr. Dufault, was a very different man from Dr. Pignier. Dr. Dufault was stern and cold. He did not like to take chances. He did not like anything new or different. So, of course, he did not like Louis' alphabet. The silly punching of dots, he called it more than once. First, he decided the boys to go on using Louis' alphabet. Then Louis fell ill once again. Day after day, he lay coughing in bed. It was winter in Paris and was very cold and damp. When the doctor examined Louis, his words were sharp. If you stay here, Mr. Braille, you will be dead within weeks. There was only what to do. Louis' friend packed his bag. He was going home to Coupvray again, but not for vacation, but to fight for his life. I'll be back soon, Louis said as cheerfully as he could. But his friends could hardly hold back their tears. They were sure they were saying goodbye forever. But once more, Louis surprised everyone. Somehow he got better again. It took a long time. 6 months passed before he felt strong enough to return to Paris. He could hardly wait to be with his old friends and students and start work again. But as soon as Louis got back to school, he knew something was wrong. His friends were too silent. His friends talked about everything except one thing. What's wrong? Louis asked. Finally, they told him. Dr. Dufault had grown bolder and bolder with Louis gone. First, he said the boys could not use the alphabet in class. Then he said they could not use it anywhere. Not even in our room, one boy said. Only one more question had to be asked. What about my books? Everyone knew Louis was talking about the raised dot books he had worked so many days and nights to make for the school library. There was a long silence. He burned them. All? Everyone. Louis shook his head. All my books gone. He turned and touched his way away from the room. The next 3 weeks were the worst of Louis's life. He taught classes. He ate. He slept, but as if he were living in a dream. A bad dream. Louis's body was worn out. Now so was his spirit. He knew that he could not fight the impossible fight any longer. Luckily, he didn't have to. The blind boys fought it for him. The alphabet was forbidden, but they simply refused to give up. Dr. Dufault took away their tools, the heavy paper and every stylus he could find. But the boys found substitutes, darning needles, knitting needles, even nails, and went out right using Louis's alphabet. The older boys taught new boys in secret late at night. Everyone kept a hidden diary and passed secret notes. The boys knew they would be punished if they were get caught. They were sent to their rooms without food. They were hit up across the hands, but still they would not stop. Many of the teachers who could see agreed with Dr. Dufault. They didn't like Louis's alphabet either. Some were just lazy. They already knew how to read with their eyes. Why should they bother to learn another way? But most were afraid. What if the raised dot alphabet really caught on? What if a great many books were printed then? Then this school, and others like it, could be run by blind teachers entirely. What would happen to their jobs? Luckily, one teacher did not agree. Dr. Joseph Gaudet was new to the school. He watched the battle between director and boys, and the more he watched, and the more he came to like the alphabet. You can order the boys not to use it, he said to Dr. Dufault, but I think the day will come when blind people everywhere will be using Braille's dots. Dr. Dufault listened. He was getting awfully tired of this fight of the boys, a fight that he could not seem to win. And if it catches on, Gaudet continued, wouldn't you like to be known as the man who helped it from the beginning? That sounded good. Dr. Dufault was an ambitious man. He loved being on the winning side of things. Besides, he was learning something the hard way. He was learning that he could burn a book, he could forbid a whole system. But it was much, much harder to stop a boy from thinking, or to make him forget something he wanted to remember. So Dr. Dufault changed his mind completely. He gave new orders. From now on, the blind boys could use Louis's alphabet once more, anywhere, any time. And that wasn't all. Okay, end of that chapter. See you later.